Hey guys. So this week I wanted to talk a little bit about poetry and sort of my history with it or lack thereof. In school, high school, middle school, even some in college, I really did not understand poetry at all. Really, a lot of writing I didn't really understand. And it wasn't because I didn't try. Well, I mean, maybe that was part of it. I didn't care that much about it. I thought most of it was silly. I didn't like how we had to overanalyze every single little aspect of it. So over time, I just kind of ignored it and didn't really pay it much mind. I remember in 8th grade, we had to do a project on poetry where we had to go in front of the class and recite a poem. And the only poet whose name I knew was Jim Morrison. So I picked one of his poems and I recited it to the class. I don't remember which one it was. I remember everybody was kind of confused by it, and I think even myself, I didn't fully grasp it. I also didn't really understand where he was coming from with a lot of his stuff at that time. I understand that a lot more now, but at the time I was just like, these are just some fancy words thrown together and it's gonna give me a passing grade, so whatever. But as I got older, kind of as I was coming out of college and I was starting to write songs and get more into music, I started to try to read different poets. If I remember correctly, I really gravitated towards Jim Morrison's work. I've read a lot of his stuff since then, and most of it's pretty good. It's a little far out there, but it was the first sort of poetry that I could really wrap my head around. And from there, I kind of started to branch out. I wanted to show this poem. Actually, it's a collection of them. Season in Hell, The Drunken Boat. This is by Arthur Rimbaud. I really enjoy Season in Hell. I remember watching a documentary about when he was writing it and him traveling the world and all of these things. I really recommend it. I'm gonna be rereading it pretty soon because I want to start getting into poetry a little bit more. I got this book a couple years ago that I never really looked at, the Poetry Handbook. It's kind of more like a dictionary of poetry things, like if you want to know what tragic irony is or an ode. This has the definitions and gives you examples and kind of explains it a little bit better. So I figured having that in my back pocket while rereading some stuff that I'm familiar with, reading some new stuff, I thought would be a pretty good place to start. But what do you guys think? Do you have any poets that you really like, or maybe some lyrics that you read as poetry? Because for me, whenever I personally write, my stuff starts as a poem or just a short form version of what the song ultimately becomes. And I think I do that because it helps me get all of the feelings that I want to capture initially, and then I can kind of expand on it through a song, or by just fleshing it out a little bit more by, adding verses, or, making the parts that I want to stick as like a chorus, stuff like that. But anyway, just a brief thought that I had for this week that I'm going to start looking at. Song of the week this week, we're going to go with Jamiroquai's Virtual Insanity. Been listening to that a lot lately, dancing with my niece to that song, and we're big fans of it. Anyway, hopefully the next time you guys hear from me, it will be in the form of a song. What? I'm not really sure what that means, but I guess time will tell. So I'm going to go ahead and cut. I will talk to you guys later. Bye.